It's been over a decade since Tron Legacy, and Tron Ares plugs us back into the grid. But was it worth the wait? Let's talk about it. A highly sophisticated program, Ares, is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission, marking humankind's first encounter with AI beings. Tron Ares was directed by Jochen Running and written by Jesse Wichito. I hope I said that correctly. I could tell mid-halfway that this film was going to be divisive. It is a good popcorn flick, but it kinda lacks on plot. The original Tron film came out in 1982. It was one of the first films to extensively use computer animation. It was unfortunately a box office disappointment due to its high production costs. Despite this, that film does have its true hardcore fans. The sequel, Tron Legacy, came out in 2010, and that is 28 years after the original one came out. This one made approximately $410 million in the box office, but it was on a budget of $170 million. I always multiply the budget by 2.5, this way we know how much it needs to break even, and it needed to make approximately $425 million to break even. So despite making $410 million in the box office, it fell slightly short. It wasn't that much of a box office success. Still, making $410 million is nothing to be sad about, but that budget was too high. Now, fast forward to 2025, which is 15 years later. Tron Ares was made on a budget of $180 million. This means that it needs to approximately make around $450 million this time around, just to break even. The point of saying all of this is to showcase how Tron was never fully a box office success. It could be if the budget was reduced down, but that's the thing, if it was reduced, we would not have any more of those visual appealing scenes, and that's why we go see Tron in theater, for the visually appealing scenes and the badass music. If Disney plans on making more Tron films, then they really need to reconsider its big budgets. I've only seen clips of the first film, but honestly, I really enjoyed Tron Legacy. It's true eye candy, and the soundtrack by Daft Punk is just too good. The acting and some plot points are kinda debatable, but those visuals are simply out of this world. 15 years after Tron Legacy, we seem to be on the exact same boat with Tron Ares. A visually appealing film, but the plot could use some work. But for now, let's go over everything that I liked about this one in particular. Let's start off with the obvious. The visuals in this film are simply mind-boggling. I saw this one in IMAX and it made all the action scenes so much better. I actually enjoyed the second half much more than the first half. And how about this? Let's play a game. Each time I say AI in this review, you take a shot or take a sip of your drink. So cheers. This film does have an interesting take in AI and how it can use 3D printers to make the AI from the digital world or the grid to come out into the real world. AI in this film are the programs that all live in the grid. For example, Ares. He is one program living in the grid. The intro gave me Spider-Man 2 vibes with Doc Ock, asking how AI will not turn on you if it's so sophisticated. I actually really liked the depiction of hacking in this movie, sending an army of AI to take over the grid. Talking about the grid, every scene in the grid itself was just amazing. There was one particular escape scene in the grid that was just beautiful to watch. And it definitely stood in my mind long after I left the theater. Seeing water particles in the grid was just mesmerizing. Hell, even when the programs fell from somewhere up high to down below, that slow motion scene was just fascinating to watch. Seeing the AI or the programs in the real world was just eye-catching. There was a chase scene in the city with the light cycles. The use of red lights from the bikes and the red light ribbon, which left a trail of red light as they chased each other, was just too good. The bright red neon lights in the city were just glorious. I really enjoyed how in some scenes when the programs were fighting against each other or fighting in general, they would use the trail of red lights at their advantage. And this film actually has some comedy, and in my opinion, the majority of the comedy actually landed. The theater that I was in, they were all cracking up. This thing that I'm about to say was actually shown in the trailer, so it's not spoilers, but seeing the 80s grid like the original film was just a nice touch. Near the end of the film, there was a minor tease of what was yet to come, and you can tell right away that the true fans and audience got really excited. They clapped when they saw the reveal. Everyone in there were pretty ecstatic. And of course, the soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails. They were a perfect fit for this film. All the nods and throwbacks to the original two films were nice to watch. If you are a long-term fan for this franchise, then trust me, you will truly love this film. But for now, let's go over what I did not like about this film much. The plot itself was kind of a hot mess. One example is, there's a CEO in this film. This CEO gave away important information to someone, and then later in the film, the CEO is shocked that someone else knows that information. But I'm thinking, you gave it away. What the hell, are you stupid? The majority of the characters in this film are pretty forgettable, and I already forgot all of their names, and I'm not going to do my research to find out who they are. But the only ones that I truly remember are Ares, Athena, and Kevin Flynn. Jared Leto's acting was somewhat stiff, but I guess that makes sense because he's playing an AI, and AI don't have any emotions. I saw this film twice in theater, only because the first time when I got there, I thought I was late, and when certain characters came into the screen, it felt out of place for me. So I told myself, maybe I missed something really important. So when I came back again and I saw it a second time, I realized that I missed nothing at all whatsoever. So this tells you that this plot is really messy. Another example showcasing how the plot is kind of sloppy is in one scene, you are in a room and everything gets wet. Like all the computers, all the tablets, and then in the following scene, they all seem to be working. Like, come on, man. I really do wish they spend much more time in the grid itself. I mean, after all, we are talking about Tron. The majority of the film should have been in the grid itself because that is what is more visually appealing than being in the city. And with this huge ass budget, we should have gotten more scenes in the grid for sure. I will say this, the scene where Ares is chasing the main girl character in the city has some pretty cool elements, but the main girl character outsmarted Ares. How is that even possible? He's supposed to be the smartest AI out there. And at times it felt like there was no clear flow, mainly due to having so many characters. To be honest, I would have preferred having much more scenes with Ares and Kevin Flynn talking. For some reason, their conversations to me seemed really intriguing. It had a bit rough start, but it finally found its footing near the middle of the film and forward. I will tell you though, if you see this film in theater, stay after the credits. But in conclusion, if you are okay with not being amazed by the plot and by some sloppy pacing, but you are simply looking for a visually appealing movie with a great soundtrack, then look no further. But be cautious if you care about a good plot and cohesive storytelling. This all leads me to my rating for this film, and I will give it a 3 out of 5 stars. This is the true cinematic experience in theater if you have a monthly membership fee for the theater, or if you go on a Tuesday or during the day when it's cheaper. Well, thank you for your time in Cinematic Family. Please hit that subscribe button, maybe the like button if you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on Tron Ares if you've seen it or if you plan on seeing it. I am Chewy. Take care. I'll see you next time.